Today I have a story called Wonderful Worms. It was written by Linda Glasser, and the pictures or the illustrations are by Loretta Krupinski. Wonderful worms, two W words. I wonder if a worm could wiggle into that shape. I don't know. Wonderful worms. I see a worm by the violet. I see a worm by the strawberry plants. Two worms, in fact. Wonder if they eat the roots and damage the plant. Let's read and find out. Earthworms are fat and wiggly, like my fingers and toes. He's holding a wiggly worm in his hand. They live where it is cool and dark and damp. Damp means just a little bit wet. They live where roots spread out like underground trees. Look, I see a mouse below the ground, under the ground. I see a worm under the ground. I see a robin on top of the ground. And look at the roots under the ground. It says where roots spread out like underground trees. That does look a little like a tree, doesn't it? But it's the roots under the ground. Worms feel sounds with their whole bodies. They feel thunder when I walk. Oh my goodness, that would sound loud to a little worm. Do you know what this animal is? You're right, it's a chipmunk. Chipmunks live under the ground also. They are wonderful diggers. They dig passageways and burrows, but they don't use shovels or fingers or toes. Oh, look at the toad. He's camouflaged. He blends in with the leaves, doesn't he? He's hiding. How do they do it? Well, they eat their way through and move along. They make a path by eating the dirt. Look at the dog. He's burying a bone, but the worms don't seem to bother his bone. Worms stretch out long and thin and squeeze in short and fat. Stretch out long and thin, then squeeze in short and fat. Stretch and squeeze, eat and dig, move and dig. Look who's under the plant. I think it might be a garden snake. A garter snake?
Garter.
I think. Wow. Earthworms mix and turn the dirt as they dig and tunnel in the earth. Uh-oh, Mrs. Sprout, looks like he's eating a worm.
What do you think that is, Mrs. Beck?
Is that a mole?
I think it's a mole. It has a little pink
I
nose.
think it might be a mole. Look at that. Oh, and look at the worm coming up to the top and then going back down. I don't see any animals up here, do you? They're so well hidden, they're hard to see.
I don't.
They make the soil soft and airy so the roots of plants can breathe and grow. Oh, so worms help the plants. They don't hurt them. There's a snail up there in his shell. Oh, look, he's out of his shell, Mrs. Brown.
He is.
He's
crawling.
Yeah.
And what's over there? What is that?
I don't-
A lizard.
Oh, I think it's a salamander.
A salamander?
You know, Mrs. Sproul, you should never take a salamander in your house because they don't do well in your house. They have to stay outside in nature to survive. They're pretty little animals.
They
It's
are.
okay to
They're
hold
cute.
them outside in your hand, though. Oh, my goodness. Worms don't have eyes or ears or a nose, but they do have a mouth. I think the dog likes looking at the worm, too. And they need food just like I do. But they eat dirt and rotting leaves. Oh, so that's why the leaves don't pile up. The leaves are rotten. The worms help. Wonder what these are. Mushrooms. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 mushrooms. And these must be field mice up there getting something to eat. They swallow tiny pieces of leaves and dirt. And inside the worms, the food changes. Uh-oh, the worms aren't eating the strawberries, but that bunny is. I have strawberries. I hope they don't eat my strawberries. When it comes out, oh, and then when the dirt and the stuff that they ate comes out their tail ends, it makes the earth rich so that plants can grow. Worms eat, and the poop that comes out the end, that the polite word is castings. Can you say that, castings? That's the polite word for worm poop. Oh, look at the butterfly up there. Earthworms are my helpers, the underground gardeners. We work hard in the dirt in my garden. Their home. Wow, look at the pretty flowers.
Those are very pretty.
There's a lot of information about earthworms, Mrs. Brown.
There is. Anything you see interesting?
Did you know that the biggest danger to earthworms, their biggest enemy, is people spraying insecticide, that stuff to kill bugs in the gardens? 1 million worms can live in 1 acre of land, and we can kill them all with just some insecticide.
Hey, I always wondered this.
What?
What does it say? It says, does it hurt a worm to be put on a fishing hook?
Where do you see that?
Right there. What does it say, Mrs. Beck?
Does it hurt a worm to be put on a fishing hook? Worms have sensory organs that make their skin very sensitive to the touch, and they do wiggle when they are put on a fishing hook, but we don't actually know what worms feel.
I always felt bad putting them on a fishing hook.
Yeah, maybe you could just fish with bread.
Or a plastic worm.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the story of wonderful worms. I bet you'll see a lot of worms this spring when it rains.
Bye, friends.